I'm going to talk about the basics for Fire RMS 5.01. On the icon on the desktop, it's going to put up two screens. It's going to open up this new calendar view, and if you were to click down here on our icon and open up this one, this is what we're currently used to looking at, the current desktop or table for Fire RMS. For now, I'm going to minimize this and we're going to focus on our new screen. It's going to auto default to a to-do calendar view. It's listed up here, and we'll get into a little bit more about what the to-do list is, but first we'll just kind of poke around and I'll show you guys the basics. Now, like most computer programs, if you were just to hover over any of the buttons, it'll give you a little bit more description to each button. This screen is basically a different view of this screen over here. So this create a new incident button is the same as this create a new incident button. Same thing with training and other entries. Create a roster would be here, and that's the same as we're used to using on this screen as creating a daily roster. So again, all the same functions, just in a different view and a different format for us to look at. So we'll go through some of these buttons. Incident, create a training, other entries, and this is going to be our new logbook. We'll use other entries for going shopping, meal times, doing incident pre-plans, essentially anything that we put in our previous hard copy logbooks will be entered under other entries. Creating a roster, and then from everything down below, we're going to not discuss today. Personnel and occupancies, hydrants, that's stuff for another video that hasn't been completely set up yet. Across the top, this is the calendar to-do view. This roster calendar view, we don't have this really set up, so it doesn't mean much to us. This is just the people assigned to each stations, divisions, departments. This view isn't going to help us, so don't worry about the roster calendar view. So under the incident list view, we have all of our calls located for the date range listed here, or any that haven't been completed will be on this list. The first thing I'd like to do is rearrange or sort all of these calls by IR number. So if I click here, it's going to sort it in a descending order from the highest number to the lowest. Now obviously there's something wrong with this IR number, this IR number, this IR number, and if we look at some of these dates, they've happened a few months ago. This one happened earlier in this month. I can't explain to you why some of these numbers are the way they are. Maybe we created our own and whoever inputted the number didn't do so appropriately. So if we skip the first four, we come down here. This is our last call that we ran today. IR number 6220, 6219, 18, so they're in ascending order. Now, the only reason that we can see these on this table, because they have been completed, or is because we're within a date range. If we move back and we start ours 2 days ago, we change again to a descending order, we can see all the calls that have been completed for this date range. And now they're showing up as completed and reviewed. The rest of these remaining calls below, outside of our date range, are still shown on this list because they have not been completed and they have not been reviewed. So these are calls that are pending some sort of action. On many of the screens, there's this box up top that allows us to do advanced filtering. Regardless if you're in the incident tab, training tab, other entries tab, each table or each screen can be filtered via the station or person making the entry or shift by simply clicking Advanced Filter. We can filter everything by structure, EMS call. If we select all here, we can look at all incomplete charts. We can filter by shift, A, B, or C shift. We can filter by station. If we were to open here, operations, EMS, and let's say we wanted to see all of station 4's calls, we can simply look at everything that has been assigned or created for station 4. Just to the right of the incident list tab, we have our training tab. Much like the incident list, it's going to show us a table with whatever information that we have selected. So currently I have all trainings that have been inputted on today's date. There is really no date range, so I'm going to extend this out to the 1st of December. So we'll see how much training has been done from December 1st to December 28th. And again, we can see all of the trainings for every station, and they've all been completed. Again, we can use the Advanced Filter tab up here to drill down between stations or shifts and see the trainings for individual crews. To input a new training, we simply select Create a New Training Class over here, and it's much like we did before. It's the exact same box. Select the training that you've completed. On this one here, we're going to do administration and computer usage. Hit OK. If we didn't know exactly what code to use, we could come in here and type in, let's say we were doing something with a hose and I wanted to look in the description. Anything that has a hose related to it is now going to come up, and I can select. So if we did advanced hose line up a ladder, and then I can select that as my training. Method is going to be manipulative by East Fork. Obviously we're going to put our time in there. Did an hour of hose training. Location, we're going to select a station. I'm going to select station 1. Participants are going to be selected per station, so I'm the only one assigned to station 1. I'm going to add from assignment. If I wanted to also say I did it with station 14, select station 14, add from assignment, and anybody attached to station 14 would be inputted. If somebody came in and wanted to do it off duty, that would be add from personnel. So Alan Anderson came in off duty to do our host training with us. Because he is not assigned via the roster, we're going to add from here. If we wanted to add an external participant, let's say Brian Hunt from Carson City, or Brian, who's going to train with us, we can add him into our training. Under objectives, we click the add objectives to a class. Again, we're going to go to hose. For the description, scroll down, and we worked on fire hose sizes, couplings, hose rolls, anything that's relevant to the class that was put on, and hit OK. Now these are our defaults. We're going to add those to each participant by hitting Add Defaults. So each participant that was in the class is going to have those automatically defaulted to their objectives. And then I'm going to hit Complete. Save and close. And now we've added a training. To the right of the training tab, we have the other entries list tab. This is going to be our new logbook. This is going to be every entry that we would normally make in a logbook. Trainings will auto input, incidents will auto input, but as far as mealtime, pre-incident planning, workout, all those other entries will have to manually be inputted. Like everything else, up here there is a filter. It's currently set to today. I'm going to expand this out for a couple of days, out to the 26th. And we see that I've inputted already physical fitness and a location at Station 1, a meal time at Station 14, and a pre-incident survey or a pre-plan was done on yesterday at 3 o'clock at Station 1. Like everything else, we can filter this by station, by crew, by shift. So by selecting set to roster or current user, you can select how much you want to view under here. Now purposely I left this one incomplete, and I did so when we look at our to-do list, we can see yesterday there's an other that's left as incomplete, and that is this pre-incident plan. So if I click complete on this one, let me double click and open it. Authorization completed, save as, yes. When I reopen the calendar to a to-do view, that is now disappeared. So you can look today, there's a training that is incomplete. And if I go to the training tab, it's demonstrate the proper use of the ambulance gurney. If I open this up, we look at participants, we can see who's used it and who has not. Or I'm sorry, who's completed it and who has not completed it. We have incomplete through here. So as long as everybody that's on the training, if there's one person that's still listed has not completed, then it's going to show up on our calendar as an item that still needs to be completed. So it gives the BCs, it gives the station captains the ability to look through each day and see which tasks, or if any tasks, have not been completed and figure out why those have not been done. If we are using other entry list as our new logbook, go over to this side because we want to create a new entry. Start of the day, let's say we had breakfast. We're going to come in, select, here's a full list of anything that we can select. I'm going to go with meals at 10 this morning to 10:30 at Station 1. If you wanted to add a comment, by all means, Station 1 assigned from that assignment, which was me, authorize, complete. The next tab to the right of other entry lists is past due tasks. If we click on past due tasks, we will see every report, whether it be a training report, incident report, hydrant check, any report that's ever been entered and never completed will be found under this past due tasks tab. So scrolling through here, there's, I don't even know where to begin, hundreds of reports from the past that haven't been done. They go back several years. So as these start getting cleaned up and cleaned out, this will be a more relevant tab. This will be a place for BCs and captains to go through and make sure that their crews and individual crew members are doing the reports is they'll show up in past due after they have not been completed. The last tab is the station log tab, and I realize it says station log, but this is more so like our current pass-on forms are double-sided forms that we use to pass on between station captains. I've created a few here just to play around and test, but to create new pass-on forms, we go and scroll down to the bottom, select add. Everybody's listed here, so for myself, I will select myself. I'm at station 1, and our pass-on report would be typed in here. If it was a priority report, let's say, I don't know, tires needed to be rotated on the engine and there's an appointment in the morning to get them done at the tire shop, we would be able to select priority and save. This gives the ability for PCs to be able to see pass-ons from every captain. Again, using this box up here, it can be filtered per station, it could be filtered per crew, or per shift. The other thing that this gives us the ability to do is continual running logs. So currently, we've had the issue where pass-on forms are lost between shifts. Now that they're always on the computer, we can scroll back. So if we wanted to look at just Station 1's pass-on sheets and see if we missed anything, we can filter the log reports or pass-on forms to just a single station, and then go through here and we can see by date and by log writer and see what was passed on and if it was a priority or a non-priority. Using the RMS table is much like it was before. Really no changes here. Everybody's used to seeing the incident. In this format, it's always been defaulted to start with the alarm time. So people have been unable to find their incident report. Their IR number isn't listed here. A lot of times they'll create a new one from scratch, when really their incident was transferred over from Spillman. It was just transferred over under a different time, like January 1st, 1900. This happens when there is no dispatch time attached to any call. A lot of times this happens for transfers or station move-ups, because there's never a dispatch time, or sometimes the dispatch time is going to be delayed. Spillman is still going to output a call, and it outputs it with an alarm time of January 1st, 1900. So by selecting and sorting by IR number, even if the time is January 1st of 1900, we can select it, open it, and edit it from there rather than creating a duplicate call, which is why a lot of these pink calls are coming up on the screen, because Spillman will output one and then we'll create our own, and we end up with duplicates. Now I have changed settings in the program that should no longer allow duplicate calls to occur, but we'll see if that works as intended. This is essentially the backside of the new calendar screen. Everything that you do on the calendar screen is still going to come back to this table. Here's our incidents as listed. Here's our trainings for, Sunday the 1st. Let's go to today. And we see there's some trainings that were done today. Other entries, this is our logbook. Daybook. And you can see here's one of the trainings that was inputted today, and here are all the calls. This is on the to-do list, so these have not been completed. Each one of these calls are still waiting for completion via the station captain. Our log, all of these are from today. Not sure why this call is in here. It's from June 7th. I'll look into why those are coming through, but we kind of played around today. We have physical fitness at station 1. Here's a couple of calls 14 have been on. More trainings and ground ladders. And because I am logged in, this is what I can view from my permissions. And FYI and requests will not be used at this time.